Hey, Dr. Lindsey here. Let me talk to you about this case. This is a really interesting guy we started working on 6 years ago, maybe. He's a class 6 or even 7 male pattern baldness with reasonably thick and pretty dense hair, but just a ton of skin to cover. And he only wanted FUE because periodically he decides to get a buzz cut. So over the course of a couple of years, I think we did somewhere around 3,500 FUEs on him. And then we started having lower yield, as you would expect. There's just a ton of scar tissue underneath the skin. And although he wasn't donor depleted, just the yield that we got from FUE was low. And he had decent coverage, so then we did modified FUE on him and got him support coverage. And everything was fine. He sent in selfies and was doing just fine. He's got a very active dating life, probably in large part due to his cool personality, but maybe in part due to his newer hair coverage. But I'd say once every 8 to 10 months, I'll get an email on a Friday night where this fellow has been out drinking with his buddies and decides to shave his head. And then he realizes he wants more hair, and he just works himself up into a frenzy in the middle of the night. And so we talk, and then he decides that he's going to have another case. Well, we've FUE'd him to the point where we really just can't get any more hair out of him with FUE without going right up here, which might thin out at the time. So I've tried and tried to convince him that let's just do a small strip on him. We get great quality hair, but he almost committed to that this time, but instead we went back and did a second modified FUE. When he has his hair a ½ inch long, man, he looks great in the front and in the back. Sometimes he grows his hair 2 inches. He sent in a selfie that I'll show in this where he's kind of spiked his hair up. He looks great until he goes out with his buddies and then decides to buzz his head on Friday night. So we did another modified FUE on him just the other day. My guess is we won't hear from him for 10 or 11 months, and then he'll decide he wants some more hair. We'll see what happens, but this is a good example of where you can start and then where you can wind up as a class 6 hair loss. I think he could have done things more efficiently in terms of time and money had we have just done 2 strips at the beginning. But you know, he's certainly been happy with our work, and this is one way of doing it. But I think he's all FUE'd out at this point. So enjoy. All right, so we have done thousands of FUEs and a few modified FUEs on the back of this guy's head. And we're getting ready to do another round of modified FUEs. And then we won't see him for another year or so until he gets another girlfriend, and then we see him again and get a follow-up. But that looks fantastic. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, when you let that grow long, have you ever let it grow long?
Yeah, I was gonna leave it long, but then I figured you guys would just like cut a little piece out and it would look weird, so I just like cut it short.